I wish I hadn't spent so much time worrying about not being somebody else's definition of being enough, said Sophia Bush, actress, filmmaker, activist. Me, no, I don't really have any such regrets in life. Me, I never really cared about what anybody else thought about me, which of course was my mother's regret in life. You know, women should think what people are saying about you, being socially aware, all of that. Let me tell you something about my mother. My mother has excellent communication skills. Well, I inherited some of them, so you can judge her verbal communication skills. But her non-verbal communication skills, her eye contact, the moment she looks at you, it's not just my father. Even people around us know when to shut up and know when what not to do. Her body language, you wouldn't imagine. She can get extremely creative with her props. For instance, a rolling pin. And I'm not talking about the use of rolling pin for making a pie. She is good with all the other props as well, like a broomstick. And again, she is not using it for sweeping the floor. You know what I mean? I learned a few things from her. I was 10 years old, and the biggest goal of my life was to come back home from school through a public transport without getting groped by strangers or getting sexually abused. That's what my mother had told me. Don't you dare get abused. With that warning came a lot of self-defense lessons and seminars and workshops. Eventually, I also got pretty creative about using props. There was this one time when I was coming home through a public transport, our public bus. I was sitting quietly, minding my own business with some of my senior friends. Suddenly, a strange man had to come, sit right beside me, and he had to press my thigh. I was too young to really understand why exactly would somebody want to press thigh. However, I was taught well. I was taught to identify the good touch, bad touch. I don't really want to categorize that touch, but I was told by my mother, don't get groped, don't get abused. That's what I did. What was the most handy prop that I could use as a weapon in my school bag? I started searching. I had got my new geometry box, the compass. All I remember is taking it and stabbing that man's hand where he had put it on my thigh. I didn't really think about what happened after that. My stop came and I walked down from that bus. Now you might think, who does that? And that age, so violent. I never really, I'm not exactly, I mean, non-violence and all is all fine, but when it comes to this, if you have an option of being abused or abused, then being abused is much of a cliche for women in the past. I would like to be the latter one. If the bull is coming to me, I'm going to hold it by the horn. I'm going to take the bull by the horn. I grew up, my personality, Well, it did not really change much. I was no more mature. I was in a relationship. Women here in the audience might probably relate to this, to be in a relationship with a man who likes to tell you, that hair doesn't suit you. What are you wearing? I mean, why would you even wear this? Why did you laugh over there? Why did you talk like this to that person? Why are you sharing all these things with the so and so person? Yes, that is what my boyfriend was. Finally, at one point, I got mentally frustrated and I realized, nah, this isn't working for me. I choose not to get emotionally and mentally abused. I called off the relationship. I told him that I don't like all of these things you're doing. I asked you to stop, you did not. To that, when some of the elder family members tried to mediate between us, guess what he said? You cannot imagine how abusive Gayatri has been with me. Okay, how exactly have I been abusive with you? I asked. To that, he said, how could you tell me that I should not tell you what is wrong with you? Is that it? He then looks at my grandparents and says, she says I can't even criticize her. It's my right. Me not letting him criticize me was an abuse for him. Okay, once again, if being abused or to abuse are the only two choices, I am not choosing the former one. It's too much of a cliche. I am choosing the latter because when the bull comes at me, I take it by the horn. Mr. Conte's chair.